CNN has just hit a new low, and given the rubbish they've been airing since 2015 and 2016, that's saying a lot. It's one thing to attack President Trump. We've come to expect attacks from the mainstream media, so no surprise there. It's another thing to attack Trump supporters and conservative voters, but that's really just an extension of the previous point. But it is completely unacceptable, reckless, dangerous, and flat out dishonorable to attack America itself in order to attack Trump. And that's what CNN just did. CNN ran a 5-minute segment alarming its viewers that Trump supporters don't believe that America is a democracy. The implication here, of course, is that America is just a simple democracy and that Trump supporters are the crazy ones, and therefore Trump supporters want to destroy democracy. There's just one problem. It's a lot more nuanced than that, and technically, Trump supporters are closer to the truth than CNN. Before I totally destroy this CNN segment clip by clip, let's just get one fact out of the way. The United States of America is a republic. Don't believe me? Recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag and the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Oh, wait, the republic. What about one of our most revered founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, who famously said that our country is, quote, a republic if you can keep it? And of course, why do you think we have the Electoral College? Instead of a direct popular vote, which would be a pure democracy, the founders wisely tempered it with the buffer of electors. So let me be clear, the United States of America is a constitutional republic. We're also a democratic republic, sure, but we're a republic nonetheless. Here's the difference. All republics are forms of democracies, but not all democracies are republics. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's see how CNN approached this topic.
President Biden is billing his re-election campaign as a fight to preserve democracy. Tonight, how that notion is going down with Trump supporters, as well as one noted author who's made describing how democracies fail her specialty. More from CNN's Donny O'Sullivan.
Did you notice how Anderson Cooper framed this entire segment? He claims that the Biden campaign is about preserving democracy, and then he pours gasoline on the fire by touting an author who's a so-called expert on how democracies fail. This entire introduction primes the audience to view Trump supporters as the dangerous ones. And ironically, that puts us in danger.
What happens if Trump loses?
I don't see him losing.
I don't think he lost the last election, to be honest.
Do you think he's going to win?
Yes. Without a doubt.
No doubt.
What if he doesn't this time? What happens to the country?
We're in trouble.
We're in big trouble.
Done. If Biden talks about democracy, saving democracy, they're the ones that are killing democracy.
Make no mistake about it, whether or not you agree with what those people are saying, that clip was meant to make Trump supporters look bad. Let me prove it to you. Did you notice how they started with people questioning the 2020 election? That was on purpose. This is TV. Everything is heavily edited and intentional. Don't forget, Anderson Cooper started this segment talking about preserving democracy and previewing an author who's an expert on how democracies fall. So it's no coincidence that the very next clip features election deniers. The framing makes us look like extremists against democracy.
Obviously, there's a lot of criticisms of Trump that he is bad for democracy, that he's bad for American democracy.
Okay,
We
so
are a republic.
We're a republic.
We are
We're
not a
representative
democracy.
republic. We're not a democracy.
Bravo, they are spot on. But here's when things started going south. CNN could have stopped there, but they went out of their way to suggest that America is not a republic and that conservatives are crazy and dangerous for thinking that it is.
One thing we've been hearing at Trump rallies like this over the past few months is that America isn't really a democracy.
America's not a democracy, it's a republic.
Like, it's not a democracy. Okay, democracy is actually not as good as you think it is.
Again, that is very intentional editing. Remember how Anderson Cooper primed the viewer to believe that the Biden campaign is about preserving democracy. They're trying to make it look like Trump supporters are against democracy, but we're not. Like I said, all republics are a form of democracy, but we are first and foremost a constitutional republic.
But for centuries, America has celebrated its democracy.
Democracy is worth dying for.
Democracy remains the definition of political legitimacy.
But some Republicans and pro-Trump media are pushing the idea that America is not a democracy.
The United States of America is not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic.
The United States of America is not a democracy. You don't want to be in a democracy.
We are not a democracy. We are a republic.
Don't you love how they included clips of Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush to make their point? Look, we all know the media hated Reagan and Bush, so it's really a low blow to take those clips out of context to try to make their point. Well, I did some clip finding of my own. known. Here's Ronald Reagan calling us a republic.
Today marks my first State of the Union address to you, a constitutional duty as old as our republic itself.
Oh, and here's Democrat darling Nancy Pelosi calling us a democratic republic.
But disturbingly, the last administration saw our democracy in crisis with a rogue president who trampled over the guardrails protecting our republic.
Oh, and don't forget about that time Bill Clinton called us a republic too.
I have said this before and I will say it again. There are not 10 people who have ever served in the United States Senate in the history of the republic who have done more good with their service.
Dear CNN, if you're going to try to use video clips to make your point, make sure the point you're making is factual. Again, all republics are forms of democracy, but not all democracies are republics.
Is America a democracy?
America is a democracy. It was founded as a democracy.
I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories. I hear a lot of things out on the road. But to hear Americans, people who would describe themselves as patriots, say that America is not a democracy, that stopped me in my tracks.
You are hearing...
Here's the infuriating thing. The left always accuses the right of being purveyors of misinformation. But as I'm showing you right now, they're not just guilty of misinformation, they're guilty of propaganda that is flat out dangerous to the public's perception of our country. The reason our republic has survived for so long is largely because of our shared identity, our shared history, and our shared values. But the far left and their allies in the establishment media are erasing that history before our very eyes. I cannot stress enough how dangerous this is for our country. This is media malpractice through and through. This is misinformation of the highest degree.
You are hearing people say America is not a democracy because there are people around Trump who want them to be saying that, who've been planting that narrative.
Is America a democracy?
Yes. No, I don't. I think
not
we're
right now,
a republic.
but we're a republic.
What's the difference?
I feel like democracy. Let me think this through. That it's government control. I don't see freedom in democracy. I see freedom in the republic.
So in this clip, they are again painting President Trump as a threat to democracy. But here's how things get dangerous. This sort of misinformation is planting the seeds for rebellion and potential violence if Trump wins in November. Mark my words, if Trump wins, leftists will be out rioting in the streets because they'll actually believe that Trump is a dictator, fascist, or whatever buzzword the Democrats decide to use that day. But that's not all. I guarantee you that CNN interviewed plenty of people who could have explained the difference between a pure democracy and a constitutional republic, but my theory is that they selectively chose that clip to make their point. First of all, how is Trump attacking democracy? Is it because he simply questioned the 2020 election? Because if so, then Hillary Clinton, Stacey Abrams, Al Gore, Adam Schiff, and many more are guilty of attacking democracy. Second of all, contrary to what they say, there is a big difference between a democracy and a republic. Here's the proof. Take a look at the UK. They're a democracy because they elect their members of parliament, but they're also a monarchy because they have kings and queens. What about Sweden, Japan, Denmark, and the Netherlands, all of which are democratic monarchies? If there's no difference between a democracy and a republic, like CNN is claiming, then there would be no difference between our form of government and all the ones I just listed. But there is a big difference.
So why has democracy become a bad word?
Because it's being used in a way to change the flavor of our country, which is a republic.
These words were used in different ways in the 18th century, and it's true the founders didn't want direct democracy, by which they meant people gathering on the town square. They wanted representative democracy. But I think the reason why this conversation about language has risen now is because there is a part of the Republican Party that would like to rule as a minority, and they need an excuse for why that's okay.
Where is the evidence of this? Notice how they just make claims and accusations without providing any evidence. And furthermore, if Republicans just want to rule as a minority, then why don't they do so right now? We don't have the White House. We don't have the Senate. If Republicans just want to rule as a minority, why don't they just take over now instead of waiting until the election? You know, the day when we see democratic norms play out. Gee, I wonder.
And so they have begun to say, we're not a democracy, we're a republic. And it's not 100% clear what that means, but I think they mean we want Donald Trump to be able to do whatever he wants.
No one wants that. And if you actually believe that, I have news for you. You have TDS. Trump derangement syndrome. As someone voting for Trump in November, let me tell you now, I don't want Trump doing anything he wants. I want him serving the people within the confines and the powers that are limited and established by the United States Constitution. Folks, I cannot stress how dangerous this segment is. This is framing people who know history, framing people who love America as threats to democracy and as threats to the nation. They are othering us in real time, and it's only a matter of time until this becomes dangerous. Shame on CNN.
I mean, this whole democracy republic thing is fascinating. This is the first I've heard of that kind of new thing that they're now pushing. And it looks like folks on Fox are pushing it. Is there a reason the people you spoke with think the country isn't a democracy now? I mean,
yeah, look, I mean, Anderson, some of those folks no doubt genuinely believe that and might have believed it for a long time. This isn't necessarily a new talking point. However, we have seen it just revive over the past few months.
Anderson has never heard that America is a republic. Has he never said the Pledge of Allegiance? Or if he has, did he not pay attention to what he was saying? Look, the infuriating thing about this whole segment is that they try to paint us as the uneducated ones, the unsophisticated ones, the boorish ones, but all they're doing is describing themselves. For anyone who has read history or studied history at all, there is no question about this. So how dare CNN accuse us of misinformation? How dare CNN accuse us of being uneducated when they're the ones feeding this sort of nonsense and garbage to their viewers? And mark my words, this isn't just an attack on President Trump or his voters. This is an attack on our constitutional republic itself. If we don't have a shared identity, if we don't have a shared history, then that's how things fall apart. I'm leaving a link to the original CNN video in the comments, so please go to that video and educate people there by engaging in the comments section. But as always, that is just my analysis, and I would love to hear yours in the comments below. What do you think? Were you aware that the United States is a constitutional republic, or did you buy into the left-wing talking point that we're just a simple democracy? If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask, but it really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.